This is the second part of the UiPath DevCon 2020 highlights, reviewing the sessions from the second conference day. If you missed the first part, you can find it linked on screen. Go and check it out for some very exciting new features of the UiPath platform. There were 2 days packed with high-quality presentations about new features and technologies that are already or are becoming part of the UiPath platform. If you are interested in the details of a particular topic, please watch the original video. I've put a link to the UiPath DevCon 2020 in the description below. For better navigation, I've also put in the description below timestamps to each of the sessions covered by this video, so you can jump directly to the one that interests you the most, although I promise all of them are interesting. ML Model Lifecycle Management on AI Fabric. The day opened with ML models and their management on AI Fabric. Bots sometimes need to work in a fuzzy situation or work with uncertainty. Also, AI comes in to help the bots take more educated decisions. There are different challenges that need to be addressed when working with AI. The technology stack. Most ML models are based on Python and usually run in a Unix environment. But on the robot side, most of the code is written in VB or C# and runs on the Windows server. And different resource requirements. Bots run on simple machines, while ML models need very powerful hardware in most cases. CPU, RAM, GPU, and so on. Self-learning is one of the hot topics. The models in the AI Fabric are able to capture the input from the user that is validating an exception and retrain on that data to include it in the model and perform better the next time. The session then goes on to demo an ML model from an email classifier, reading email, predicting its category, and move them to the right Outlook folder. There are a set of open source models to start with and get your hands dirty on, so you can get some hands-on experience without the need to be a data scientist, which is cool. Autoscaling unattended robots through IT automation. This next session is about autoscaling robots, a very interesting concept of automating the scaling of the robots that are performing the automation. So in a way, automating automation. What is autoscaling? In cloud computing, it refers to the number of servers increase or decrease depending on the workload, but in RPA, this happens with the number of unattended robots. A bot, however, needs a VM and a license. Bots' workload could vary in the same company throughout the week, and autoscaling can bring savings on both license and infrastructure costs. Based on how cost-sensible your company is, you can have ready VMs, VMs on standby, or allocated on-demand VMs. These last ones will be started and installed only when you require them. This frees up the resources in the rest of the time, but makes the job wait until the VM and its robot service comes online. Here are some cost examples from Azure for hot, cold, or virtual VMs, which illustrate very well the potential cost savings. It ultimately drills down to cost versus availability. The VMs can be actually started and stopped by a rather simple XAML workflow, and this example can be found on the Connect marketplace, and it's free. Robot autoscaling is a free component that could work seamlessly with Azure, AWS, VMware, Citrix, and more. And this is maybe something to look into as the number of robots in your company increases. The third session of the day is a very hot one for most of us, the career of an RPA developer. LinkedIn, for example, projects a 40% growth of demand for RPA developers in a recent report. UiPath organized a survey among RPA developers that contains a lot of statistics. Something interesting to see is that we, as RPA developers, are really pioneers in this field, with extremely few people having more than 5 years of experience in the field. There are a lot of insights, but check the video session and the report for that. There's also a new certification that we could get as RPA developers that doesn't expire. It is available on 2 levels, Associate and Advanced. If you plan to work as an RPA freelancer, this could come in especially handy. Spencer Manner from PwC is sharing some of the tips and tricks for taking the certification and preparing for the exam. It's also interesting to know that there is a practice exam that we could take to prepare us for the real one. The UiPath Assistant ecosystem. The video starts with describing the inception and takeoff of RPA in an enterprise, with Center of Excellence feeding automations to users and users coming back and asking for more use cases and starting a flywheel between the different departments. The session continues with a quick assistant customization and functionality demo. A nice one is to create reminders to not forget to trigger some of the processes with a snooze function. There is also a very good example of forms used in long-running processes where user interaction is needed, as well as a picture-in-picture demo where the selected process runs in a separate system inside yours, like a VM, while you could run another process on your own machine, or just continue your daily work. An interesting idea is that an attended robot creates more awareness for RPA in a company because it is seen compared to unattended robots that solve problems silently. This promotes the center of excellence internally and increases the word of mouth for RPA. Engaging with robots. This session is about UiPath apps and UiPath data service. With apps, you could create interfaces for your robots and design launchpads and aggregate and publish data from and to multiple systems with the use of unattended robots. The presentation contains a demo of creating an app with UiPath Apps Designer. Watch the DevCon video to see all the steps. The second application presented is data service. It provides a no-code data modeling and storage functionality designed to be used in Studio and by robots. This allows the bots to use relational data types, integrated security, and auto-scaling. In terms of use cases, it could be used as an interim storage for a process instead of using a new database or shared folder, or it could be used for aggregating data from multiple systems before processing it. One unattended bot could gather the data in data services, like a dispatcher, and the other bots could use it further in the process. It also fits perfectly the long-running processes or human-in-the-loop process. Data service allows us to create entities with a series of fields assigned to them, so in a way like objects in object-oriented programming. From my point of view, this comes to complement the very simple structure of the queue. To learn more about data services, go to docs.uipath.com data service. Building long-running workflows or human-in-the-loop with Action Center. Action Center is about including humans in the loop and automating more work from start to finish, and is at the forefront of long-running workflows. It can chain together multiple processes, resume jobs upon external and internal triggers, and centralize the coordination of the long-running workflows through Orchestrator. The session demos a very interesting use case for a long workflow integrating validation station with Action Center using document understanding and demoing the usage of dynamic tasks as well as storage buckets. Storage buckets, in this case, were used to store the PDF that are displayed in the validation station so that the users could see the original document and manually correct the captured data from an invoice or similar document. This is done by adding the underscore storage to the name of the element on the form data to indicate UiPath should look at the storage bucket to get the data from. The last and one of the most interesting sessions of the DevCon is about chatbots and their integration in UiPath. Customers expect 24/7 service and almost instant solutions to their requests. Chatbots that can do actions can now serve many of these customers' needs themselves by understanding the customer's intent and take the respective action. UiPath and Druid came together to combine human-like conversation with powerful actions done by UiPath robots. Druid offers a low-code, no-code open chatbot platform with pre-built conversational skills that offers a native bidirectional communication with UiPath. Druid offers UiPath robots a voice. Druid has a connector to Orchestrator, allowing the chatbot to add an item in an Orchestrator queue that will trigger a UiPath bot. At the end of this process, the UiPath bot can call back Druid in order to pass on the results of that task. The session offers two demos. The first one is an unattended internal scenario of a contract change. An employee must make a contract change for one of his customers, so the account manager can talk to this chatbot. The chatbot gathers all the info and sends the info to Orchestrator, creating a queue item that will trigger the start of a job, and at the end, the job will trigger a callback flow to Druid using a trigger conversation activity in Studio, and the chatbot can then send the response back to the user. The second demo is about an attended scenario where an account manager wants to create a new contract and validate the info before creating it. After the initial discussion between the human and the chatbot sends the input data to the UiPath bot, which performs the process and sends the output argument back to the chat, and the chat would respond to the human user. The exciting news is that we can also get our hands dirty with the Druid technology. By registering into the Druid community, we can get the UiPath starting pack, and we can get the UiPath starting pack workflows from Go. This concludes the review of the second day of the UiPath DevCon 2020. I hope it gave you a good review of the topics covered, as well as the exciting and new tools and apps UiPath is about to launch. If some of these topics have raised your interest, I strongly encourage you to go to the particular session and watch its recording on the DevCon website. The link is in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing, as this will help the channel immensely. Thank you for watching and have a great day.